I call Jose Castianos to stand, Judge.
All right, so counsel, are you asking to proceed with sentencing today?
Yes,
All right, who would you call?
Jose Castianos.
All right, Jose Castiano.
Ramirez Hernandez. Con espalda.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Jose Castianos.
All right, yes, you may proceed.
Mr. Castellanos, what is your function at, let me rephrase that, who do you work for?
I work for the Manager Assigned Counsel.
And what is your position at the managed assigned counsel?
I'm a mental health case manager.
And have you have an opportunity to interview Mr. Early Josuel Ramirez Hernandez?
Yes.
And when was the interview taken?
I met with him on 6/10/25, and then I did an assessment on 6/24/25.
Okay. And the assessment that you made on Mr. Ramirez Hernandez, what does that consist of?
It consists of a questionnaire, which is called the Adverse Childhood Experiences Questionnaire, and then just gathering information from his experiences growing up, and family, if there's been like any other assessments, or if he's had any we just met with psychiatrists, drug use, suicide, and things like that.
And let me backtrack a little bit, but you are the mental health manager on MAC, is that right?
Yes.
And do you hold a degree in counseling?
I do.
And what is that?
That's I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling.
And is that from UTSA or some other place?
No, it's from the University of Texas San Antonio.
Okay. Prior to working with the management assigned counsel, did you work for someone else specializing in providing counseling to perpetrators and victims?
Yes, I work for the Family Violence Prevention Services.
Okay, and anywhere else?
I've also worked for San Antonio Recovery Center, and then most of my experience was at True Mental Health Services.
Okay, and we were talking about that you gave an assessment to Mr. Ramirez Hernandez concerning trauma. What trauma did you find? Were you discussing with Mr. Ramirez Hernandez?
Well, he has a lot of trauma. His dad was murdered when he was about like 7 years old. He's from Honduras, so a lot of what he explained to me or reported was that the MS-13 gang murdered his dad, and then also murdered his brother. His brother got murdered back in 2020. Shortly after that, there was some threats on his life where he had to make the decision. His family had to also make the decision to bring him here to the United States for refuge. And then another thing that he reported was that when his dad got murdered, they lost everything due to the gang. The gang took a lot of their property, took their assets, and they were like left on the streets, homeless, trying to figure things out.
And did Mr. Ramirez Hernandez and his family experience extreme poverty in Honduras?
They did, and they still do. One of the things that he reported to me was that, even at his very young age, he's also responsible for helping to support his mom and his siblings. He reported back in 2020 when his brother was murdered, his mom had a breakdown. And after that, she was never the same. Same thing with one of his siblings. So his mom, she resides in Honduras right now. She's unable to work.
Was Mr. Ramirez Hernandez, prior to his arrest, required to support his mom and the rest of the family?
Yeah, he reported that he has to help support his mom and his siblings financially. But even here in the US, he's residing with his sister. But like I said, even when he got here at a very young age, he was responsible for his share of like the rent, hygiene stuff, food, and things like that.
Now concerning, did you got to talk about the offenses? And do you know that he's charged with aggravated robbery in 3 cases?
Yes.
And does he express remorse to you about what the situation?
He did. One of the things that he reported was that he felt that, since he didn't have any money, and he still had to financially support himself here and then support his mom back home and his siblings, he felt that, what he did was just something he did out of impulse. And he said that he regretted what he did. He said he felt some remorse afterwards. And he said that he even, felt that at some point, he told the other accomplice that they wanted to return the money and the vehicle.
So were you aware that all these offenses occur in a period last year from October 28th to November the 20th? Were you aware that during the 3-week or so period, all these offenses were committed?
Yes.
And did you get an understanding or an inkling as to, in those 3 or 4 weeks where this happened, what was, aside from what you already mentioned, what else was going on in his life?
He reported that there was a lot of bullying happening at school. He said that the only person that had ever showed him any type of like love and respect was the individual that was also alleged on this crime. So he built a really close relationship with this individual. He felt like he was lonely in life. He didn't have anybody. He went through a lot of depression. There was like some drug use, that he reported to, which was marijuana that he said, he was consuming daily in order for him to be able to cope with a lot of the stressors.
Are the brains of young people of that age, 18 and under, well developed to assess the full capabilities or commissions of offenses?
No. Another thing is, when children and even youth, since they are still developing, a lot of, if they're experiencing a lot of life stressors and there's been a lot of trauma in their life, it kind of distorts their cognitive functioning, their emotional functioning, and this is a lot of reasons why a lot of these individuals commit the crimes that they do. And his report, the fact that he didn't have the proper guidance and the proper parental guidance, I could see why he will be committing the crimes that he did.
Now, during your assessment, you were able to evaluate him for emotional abuse and physical abuse, is that correct?
Yes.
And you found that there was traumatic experiences concerning those areas, is that right?
Yes.
What about emotional neglect and physical neglect?
As well. Yes.
And there was mental illness in his household as well?
Yeah, he reported that, like I mentioned earlier, he reported that his mom, had went through a crisis after his brother was murdered, and he couldn't explain to me what was happening or what was wrong with her, but he did report that after that she was never the same.
Now, you use some standards in your assessment with the maximum score being 10, a number 10. What was the score that, based on your assessment, that you found that Mr. Ramirez Hernandez had?
He scored a 7. And
is that significant?
Yeah, according to the adverse childhood experiences assessment, anybody that scores over a 5, lets us know that they've experienced a lot of adversity growing up.
Now, just to emphasize, Mr. Ramirez Hernandez's father was murdered when he was 6, is that correct?
Yes.
and his brother when he was 14, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And all these traumas, do they have an effect on the child's emotional development?
They do. It affects their emotions, that their way of thinking, but it also distorts just the reality of this of life of this world, because of how the trauma that it's been through.
All right, and in your opinion, is rehabilitation possible with Mr. Ramirez Hernandez?
I believe there is.
And would he benefit more from treatment and counseling as opposed to just sending him to prison?
I believe so. I believe that intervention is going to play a big part in his life. I think he does need a lot of therapy, to go back and assess and kind of work on all the trauma that he's been through and some of the trauma that he still experiences.
And do you have an opinion as to what the court for the court, or should they be given something called the early education or not?
Yes.
Pastor with the judge.
All right, state.
Yes, I know that we have a silent plea here, but let's still ask you some questions about the facts of this case. One, and what you testified to just previously, everything that you just testified to, you received from the defendant himself, is that right?
Yes.
So did you confirm that his father was murdered?
Yes.
Did you confirm that his brother was murdered?
Yes. I contacted his sister. His sister kind of gave me a report about like everything that they've experienced and he continues to experience. Even to now, he said that the MS-13 gang still continues to harass him even to this day.
So let me ask you this: you confirmed that his family members were murdered through his sister.
Yes.
So where did you confirm it officially?
No, that's the only information I have.
So you just got it from the defendant. You got it from the defendant's family.
Right.
But you have no other information on the murders of the MS-13 gang and the affiliation between the defendant and that organization.
Correct.
So, and are you aware that this individual, you're talking about, he has mental incapacities, is that right?
What I'm saying is that there's some psychological problems that happen when individuals go through the suffer trauma.
That caused them to commit re-ag robberies.
It affects their choices. Yeah. It impacts the choices that they make.
In this case, re-ag robberies.
Yes.
And you're aware that in the stipulations that have been stipulated to, that given to the court, that this individual was on jail calls talking about, I need to talk in code because they're recording this phone call, and that look out because the police have our Facebook and Instagram accounts. You're aware of all that?
No.
Okay, so you've never read the reports in this case, have you?
No.
And so do you think that would help you with the evaluation of this individual's mental capacity?
With his mental health, yes.
But you have not reviewed any of that?
No.
Okay, that's the issue.
No further questions, Judge.
All right. Thank you so much for coming down and giving me some insight.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about that. The sentencing hearing for Early Josuel Ramirez Hernandez added even more depth to an already complicated case. With testimony from mental health case manager Jose Castianos painting a fuller picture of the young man at the center of it all, Mr. Castianos, armed with a clinical background and a trauma-focused assessment, spoke to the court about Ramirez's long history of severe adversity, starting with the murder of his father when he was 6, followed by the murder of his brother, and continuing with life under threat in Honduras. The testimony made clear that Ramirez grew up fast, taking on the role of financial supporter for his mother and siblings, both in Honduras and later in the U.S., all while navigating school, bullying, isolation, and what appeared to be undiagnosed emotional trauma. The defense leaned on this psychological profile, with Castianos explaining that Ramirez scored a 7 on the ACE adverse childhood experiences test, well above the threshold that indicates serious developmental risk, and argued that therapy, not just incarceration, could make the difference. However, the cross-examination by the state was pointed. They highlighted that Castianos' entire assessment was based on information from the defendant and his family, not independently verified. The state also noted that Ramirez had been recorded on jail calls, speaking in coded language and warning others about social media, surveillance behavior that suggested more calculated awareness than the defense may have implied. Through it all, Judge Boyd maintained a respectful, focused presence, allowing both sides to present without interruption. And once again, she managed to balance empathy with accountability. The takeaway wasn't whether trauma excuses criminal behavior, it doesn't, but whether it can inform how the court responds. This hearing didn't shift the final outcome, but it reminded everyone involved that there's always more behind. The booking photo then meets the eye. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read everyone.